Hey y'all, it's April 2nd, 2025. Welcome back to Twin Oaks Family Farm in Southeast Ohio. There's the most recent chicken coop build, 8 foot by 8 foot, 64 square foot, and the most recent start of the pallet fence we are using for the hens. Hey y'all, Melissa here. We've got 49 egg production hens from our egg laying flock in an outdoor pen that we've constructed out of pallets like y'all just saw. We're gonna go in there and hang out with them for a little bit, but I wondered if you would talk to me in the comments about what's it like wherever you are as far as demand for chicken meat and demand for eggs, farm fresh eggs. I am in Southeast Ohio. This is the beginning of April 2025. Y'all, demand for poultry and demand for eggs is through the ceilings, through the rooftops. It's unbelievable. Let me give you two examples that we have just in our small poultry operation. We are a family of 5, been at the same home place for 25 years. It's at the same home place that my husband actually grew up at. And we have a small homestead, home place, family farm right here where we are. And then like 2 miles out the road is the farm that is my husband's family's farm. So he's always had that in his background. We have agricultural background. But here at our place, under 5 acres, we have a poultry farm, small poultry farm. So 5 of us in the household, my husband and I and 3 young adult sons. We keep egg production chickens all year long, and we have been raising Cornish rock cross meat chickens to specialize in poultry production. So we've started, so here's first example I want to give you, demand for poultry. We've started chicks for 2025. We've started with 300 Cornish rock cross meat chickens that were hatched, some on March 5th and some on March 12th. They're all scheduled for processing on April 23rd. And we have a flock scheduled for like a week behind them that will start about April 30th. So this flock that's in production now, on farm now, we should have poultry back from them. All the chickens are talking to me too. We should have poultry back from the meat chickens we have on farm now by May 1st. And then the next flock coming after them, we should have poultry back from them by July 1 of this summer. The 300 that are on the ground now, that is totally reserved. All of the poultry we will produce from the 300 chickens that are on the ground now is totally reserved. A lot of it was spoken for before those chicks even hatched. And now they're just about halfway through production, right at that halfway point of production, and all of it is spoken for. We are taking reservations for chicken from chicks that aren't even hatched yet. We are taking reservations for poultry meat that won't be ready until about July 1st. And we're not out there promoting that or advertising that. That's all word of mouth, people calling us. If we went out and advertised that, I believe we would have that entire flock reserved as well. As it is, we have about half of it reserved. So beginning of April 2025, looking ahead at my first 2 meat flocks for the year, we have 700 chickens involved in those 2 flocks, and over half of the meat we'll produce from that is already spoken for, already reserved. And it's customers that we've dealt with before. So it's clients that we feel confident they're going to come through. So we're not wishy-washy about is that meat sold. So high demand for poultry. Is it like that where you live? And it amazes us because we are upfront about we cannot even start to come close to having our price point as low as what you can get at a supermarket. We can't produce it and sell it and have a small profit margin on it at that price point. So, we set a price point based on our production costs, and that's what we sell it at. What's it like where you live? And just you as an individual, do you place enough value on fresh from the farm meat that you would do one of two things: either raise it yourself or pay more for it than you would pay at the store. We'll go in and take a look at the egg chickens, and I'll give you the second example. But we're excited to get this coop build finished up here soon and get the rest of our egg production chickens down here with the ones that we've already moved. This was the building where we were keeping all of our egg production hens, the metal-sided building you can see there, and just beyond it is actually our home. And these are the coops we've got our hens into now, and we've put up this chicken run for them. So we want to finish that coop and finish a chicken run over here. And we do have a request for a how-to video from my husband. We kind of jokingly call him Mr. DIY or Mr. Twin Oaks sometimes, but we've had a request for a how-to video on putting up this pallet fence, or at least how we've been putting up this pallet fence. So we're going to work on that, and hopefully by this coming weekend, early April 2025, we'll have a how-to video on how we're doing the pallet fence. Okay, so we'll actually go into these two coops and check for more eggs, but there was a couple eggs out here in the chicken run when I came out here to just check on all the gals and see how things are out here in the run for them with their water and their feed. So they're doing good, but that's another really high demand item, eggs. We're here in Southeast Ohio. How about for y'all? Are eggs in high demand? Are the prices of eggs increasing? Are you even able to get eggs? And then the other craze that leads to is people start to think about having their own chickens, even if they haven't always kept chickens. So how about that? What's that like in your area? Is there a high demand for chicks? So we have all of that happening here where we are. There's a super high demand for eggs. So there's more demand for farm fresh eggs than we normally have observed. I think simply because people who normally are getting their eggs at the store maybe are experiencing scarcity at the store and aren't able to get their eggs there. So they're turning to potentially farm fresh eggs direct from producers. For us, we have a waiting, if we would keep a waiting list, we would have a waiting list dozens long. Actually, about 2 months ago, we started telling people we aren't keeping a waiting list. You're welcome to check back in with us anytime, but if eggs become more abundant, we will advertise that we have them available. However, we're not keeping a waiting list. It just became too much to keep up with, and it became a lot of pressure and almost draining to have this long list of egg requests that we could never even dream of fulfilling. So we just reached a point as producers where we just had to say, availability is what it is. We're not keeping a waiting list. Check back in with us as frequently as you want, and we'll let people know when they're producing more. But so if you're a chicken keeper that sells eggs, have you had the same experience? Also, with the scarcity, apparently the scarcity of eggs at the store, we've seen prices go up in the stores. We have seen producers raise prices, and I completely understand that, because in some instances the pricing of feedstuffs has gone up to the producers. So that means it costs more to keep the chickens, it costs more to produce the eggs. We've been very fortunate. We have been able to keep our dozen price the same on our eggs. And another way that I feel we're fortunate is that one of our egg sales systems is subscriptions. So that means people will prepay us for basically 6 months supply of eggs. If they take them a dozen a week and they take them every week, they have prepaid for 6 months. So one reason I say that's fortunate for us is because it automatically prioritized our egg sales. And when we saw that there was demand increasing, we were able to immediately kind of pivot to having that policy in place that the eggs that are available are prioritized towards those subscriptions first. And then if we have eggs beyond that available, we can make those marketable for on-demand sales to the general public. Also mentioned with the demand for eggs and with the perceived scarcity of eggs, then people turned to thinking about having their own chickens. How's that where y'all are? Tell me about that, because what we've seen here has been the craziest thing. We've actually observed people not being able to get baby chicks. People who maybe would go to a farm supply store have gone there to buy chicks, expecting to be able to just walk in, look at the chicken display and the duck display and pick up hatchlings, have arrived at the farm supply store only to find out that there are not any chicks to be purchased. The chicks that they had sold out. And then actually just had a friend today, this is April 2nd, 2025, actually had a friend today tell me they've been looking for chicks for 2 weeks, and another friend of theirs let them know last night that they had seen chicks back in stock at a Tractor Supply store near us. So my friend went to Tractor Supply last night when she heard about chicks being available and got 8 chicks. And there wasn't a lot of chickens to choose from. They ended up getting bantam chickens, which those would be so cute. I would love to have some bantams sometime. Hey, here's a little shout out for you. Clucking Around is a channel on YouTube. Why don't y'all go check that channel out? Cindy is the hostess there, and she has some awesome chickens. I believe her flock includes some bantams. But what's that like where y'all are? Are people snatching up baby chicks as fast as they can get their hands on them in order to have their own supply of eggs? Here's the kicker with that. It's a great plan, and it's fun to keep chickens, and it's rewarding to keep chickens, and we encourage people to keep chickens. But if y'all run out and get baby chicks, please be advised, it will probably be about 5 months before those chicks mature to the point of laying eggs. Unfortunately, nature has to run its course, and it takes time for chicks to get to the point of lay, to what we call the point of lay. So at any rate, be advised about that. That's some pecking order drama you just saw right there, because this is a total of 49 chickens, and they had actually been in 2 separate groups, and now they're just all together. So also back on the chicks, let us know what chicks are selling for in your area, and let us know if you're raising any other kind of poultry or fowl, like ducks. We want to get ducks. My oldest son and I want to get ducks. And when I say oldest, all our sons are young adult ages 17 to 21. But my oldest son and I want to get ducks. So we're hoping this summer that we can do that. This is like my own little gang. Like, whoa, they're all following me. If you have chickens, you can have your own little gang too. It's crazy town. So anyway, another shout out I want to share with you, especially if you like ducks. One of my favorite channels, and this goes for chickens and for ducks. On YouTube, look up Mother Clucker's Chicken Farm. Mother Clucker's Chicken Farm. A lot of chickens there, a lot of ducks there, and great information there. The hostess there is Debbie. They're based in Florida. Check out Mother Clucker's Chicken Farm on YouTube. Let's go in the coops. Hey, there's Elvira, the one that just hopped out of the chicken coop. So let's go in the chicken coops and just take a look. The girls, I'm sure, have been at work today. Before we do go in there, here's Morticia. She's a match to the hen that just hopped out of the hen house, Morticia and Elvira. And that's a credit to one of our Chicken Mafia channel members, Tina B. So want to shout out to Tina. Thanks for supporting our channel. And thank you for naming Morticia and Elvira for us. Okay, so we'll peek in this coop. This is actually an unfinished build. So there's no nesting corners, there's no roost bars, there's no nesting boxes in here. It's just a plain pen, but you can see that the gals are utilizing. Oh, y'all. Oh, we didn't have the angle, but she literally just laid that egg when we stepped in here. Isn't that so cool? So we are going to gather eggs in here. I'm going to pause the recording so I can kind of make sure that I'm not stepping on any eggs myself, but here's a couple. Here's several. Here's a couple behind her. There's one in that corner. There was one at the door. There's one. So the hens are utilizing the corners and the floor actually. So I'm gonna pause and grab my egg collecting basket and be right back. So this is kind of fun. It's kind of like an Easter egg hunt in here. So we probably will be putting some additions in here for the hens, potentially for roosting and nesting, but it's giving me pause, and we're thinking over different options, including possibly just leaving it very plain and just adding more bedding material down here that is suitable for dust bath material and suitable for them to be in here. And I know I will get feedback that we must provide perches and roosts, etc. for the hens, but y'all, sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more, and sometimes less is enough too. So we'll see. Now it is cool. We don't have all of the base material in here yet, so you can still see the predator proofing feature where we've put the hardware mesh actually ground level in the coop. Hi Phoebe. Hi Phoebe. Remember I told you about Mother Clucker's Chicken Farm and Debbie in Florida? Debbie named Phoebe for us as well. So you can see the predator proofing feature there. This hardware mesh is ground level throughout this entire coop, and that's to prevent any predators from digging in underneath it. Here, sister, let me get that. So, wow. So that's a nice little haul of eggs. I'm double checking the floor to make sure that we got them all. I like there's one. I like the variety of hens. I enjoy seeing the different kinds. There we go. All right. Okay, we'll go in the other hen house as well. Hello, ladies. Hello. So little difference in here. We did put nesting corners in here, and we did consider this kind of unfinished as well, thinking maybe we'll add some perches or some roosts, but again, kind of contemplating that, and may end up, I don't know if we'll leave the nesting corners in or not. I think we will leave them in. They do utilize them, but of course they will perch on them and then potentially be roosting over the nesting area at night. But see, there's quite a few eggs here. Having the nesting corners probably does encourage them to actually go to the corners and not leave the eggs all over the floor, which probably just makes it easier for us to ensure maybe we don't step on them. Hi. Hello, friend. That is a black copper Moran. Do any of y'all have black copper Morans? They are beautiful. And look at the color of this egg. That is so pretty. It's actually like green in person. It's really pretty. Really pretty. That's just sawdust, or it's not sawdust, pine shaving sticking to it. So really pretty egg. Before we end the video, we'll walk over to the meat bird barn and take a look at the meat birds that we have in production. What a lovely little bunch of eggs. And we actually have another pen of chickens, Rhode Island Reds, to check for eggs. But these are gorgeous. This one, this bloom and finish is from the black copper Morans. Really pretty eggs. These are from the white leghorns. And in terms of demand, like we were speaking of before, these are all sold, all spoke for. There's some of the 5-month-old Rhode Island Reds. Hi, gals. We're trying to get your new house and new run ready for you, hopefully soon. All right, so we'll finish up with showing y'all a couple of the meat bird flocks and a couple of shout outs that I want to get in as well. This is a group of Cornish Rock cross meat chickens that are right at 28 days old, so just about a month old, 4 weeks, and we generally keep them in production for 6 weeks. So this group of birds would typically have just 2 more weeks of production. They're going to grow a ton during that time, and then they would be considered ready for processing when they hit about day 42. This group will happen to keep until about day 49 before they go to processing. Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens, their jobs are to eat, rest, and grow. So they are doing excellent at what their jobs are. Want to shout out to another chicken Mafia channel member here at Twin Oaks Family Farm, North Whittington Circle Farm. Shout out to Steve and to Deb. Thinking of y'all. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. We appreciate it. They raise poultry for meat as well, have a lot of projects going on, but they will be getting some turkeys and some meat birds like these here, I believe this month, before long here. So they're going to be busy this spring and summer. And shout out to y'all over there in Tennessee. And then want to give another shout out. It's awesome to have viewers that have been with the channel from the beginning. Want to shout out to Jeff B in the USA, a viewer that has been with our channel from the beginning, subscriber, comments on videos, and always encouraging, always has positive things to contribute to the channel community here, and we greatly appreciate it. So this flock of birds that you're looking at, you probably noticed a size difference when we went from here to here, okay? So these birds were a week younger than these birds. So big difference. I don't know that we can quite get, yeah we can. So in this instance, the birds on the left are only 1 week younger than the birds on the right of the screen. A lot of growth happens rapidly in these Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens. These birds are basically in a resting phase, so I'm going to actually go over there in a moment and encourage the birds to get up and move around. And when we do that, a lot of them will go to feeders, a lot of them will go to waters. And the birds that look out of place in this pen, the darker feathered birds, we have some egg production chicks in this pen with these meat birds. Whoop, there we are. And we'll actually be moving the egg production chicks out to their own space here within a few days, most likely. Age comparison for you. The meat birds are bigger than these egg chicks that are in here. The egg chicks are a week older. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So variety of breeds on the egg chicks that are in there. There are some barred rock, some silver lace Wyandotte. I believe actually this one closest to us here is a silver lace Wyandotte, and then the one right behind it I think is a barred rock. Back in the corner, that looks like one of the Orpingtons, probably a chocolate Orpington. We have some chocolate Orpingtons in there. I think we also have some black Orpingtons. And we do have lavender Orpingtons. I don't see any of them just right away, but they're in there. They're harder to pick out because of their light feathering. They blend in more actually down toward the end. There's a lavender Orpington down there. So we'll get them to get up and move around, walk around a little bit. Okay, so we'll just go about another minute letting it record, watching the birds interact in their grower pen here. The egg production pullets, they are able to go over the short walls at will. So they basically go back and forth between the two flocks at this point. That's one of the reasons we're ready to move them to other quarters. Sometimes they kind of stress out the meat birds, and sometimes they put themselves in risky places because of their size being smaller than the meat birds. If they crawl under the meat birds, there can actually be a risk to the egg birds, even though they put themselves in that position. So these birds are doing great. These birds will also go to processing for poultry, the Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens, and they'll go just in about 21 days here, so about 3 more weeks of production on them. Thanks for supporting our channel, y'all. We appreciate it.